Hello, in this video we're going to go over our expectations for your portfolio and work logs. So this is going to serve as two main purposes. One, for me to see daily what you're working on and your progress and have a photo record of it. And then the second will be that for skills and projects, I will use this as part of the assessment for that. We will also, later on in the semester, we will attach videos, some of them rendered videos, but also we'll attach possibly some videos that you create on the computers in the classroom to go over or highlight parts of your project and to basically verbally walk through what you're doing. In the second slide here, I have some basic information. Mostly what I just told you, but every day you're going to be expected that you're putting screenshots of what you have done in here, sometimes multiple screenshots, which means that if you switch between different projects before you exit a project, I would like you to take a photo of it, put it into the screen so that, again, I have it. And mainly what I'm going to do in this video is show you how to take those screenshots. For our first project, okay, in this video we're going to go over our 3D design and animation portfolio and work log. And so first of all, starting this week, we're going to be putting together slides of what you're working on daily, as well as any skills or projects that I give you to show me your progress. And some of those, of course, will overlap, but I'm going to go over just the expectations for this. First of all, I don't want you to change the formatting of this document in any way, mainly because I will be adding slides to it, and I don't want you wasting time in class customizing it when you're going to have to do that over and over again as I add slides. Rather, towards the end of the semester, once we get outline of all the last bits you're going to do for this, that might be an appropriate time to change it to customize the portfolio if you wish. That is up to you on that one, but not in the present, and I will state that later when a good time for you to customize your portfolio for looks and appearances, and that's also something I'd expect you to do outside of class, not during our class time working with the program. For part of this assignment, what you'll need to do is you'll need to be able to take screenshots. I'm going to show you 3 ways to do that, or 3 tools to use to do that. And that's going to be an essential part of what I expect you to do in this program. If for any reason we lose internet connectivity and you're not able to take screenshots and put them into Google Slides, you can always open up PowerPoint or another program on your computers and use that instead. And then we can transfer those images later. One of the things that you should be aware of is where the print screen key is on your keyboard, as well as the Alt key on the keyboard. I'm going to put my keyboard up in front of you just for a moment. And I'll scoot this out just a little bit so that we can see that. Focus it. So on this keyboard, most keyboards will have the print screen key right along the top. And if they don't have a middle section like this, or it's a little bit more compact, say it's like on a laptop or something, that key might be scooted over one way or the other, but usually it's going to be on the top. And mine is abbreviated PRT space SQ, meaning print screen. Print in computers is often used to refer to just generate or return information. In this case, it would be copying the screen to the clipboard. If I just press print screen on mine, it'll actually copy both my screens, and I'll end up with 2 screens worth of stuff. So I like to use Alt and print screen. Alt print screen will just take a snapshot of whatever is active. In this case, that's this keyboard right here. So if I hold down Alt and tap print screen. I just took a image of that. I can go back to here, and I'm going to go to my 4th slide Monday, my work portfolio work log slide. I just did Control V to paste, and there's the picture as I took it. I can scroll that down for size. You can also crop pictures when you put them in by clicking on the crop image tool, and that way you can get just what you want. So let's say I want the print screen and just the alt. I could easily just move this in like so. To give that idea, click on the crop tool again, and there I just have that image. It doesn't need to take up a lot of space on the slide. So that's one way you can get your images. And another way you can get images is using the snipping tool. If you go to Start and let me close that. Yes, close that. Nope, I used the wrong thing. That's okay. I have it open here. Just hit New, and I can use the snipping tool to drag over part of the screen that I want. Of course, you'd want your 3D image open, but if I take a snip of this, I can say Copy, and then I could paste that in here if I want, and there I have an image of whatever I was doing. An advantage to just hitting print screen is you could be over a menu and be able to capture where your mouse pointer is and things like that. Whereas if I do Alt print screen, a lot of times that goes away, and so it doesn't work very effectively. There I did Alt print screen. I don't have any mouse in there. Whereas if I delete that and let's clear out my other screen there really quick. If I do print screen, or let's do it this way. I'm going to go to File. I'm going to take my mouse over, make a copy. I'm going to hit print screen, and then when I paste here, most of the time in most programs I actually retain that mouse image, but in this one I did not. So not sure why on that one, but anyway, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. We'll see. So for you guys, most of the time when you're in Blender, you can just hit print screen, fast way, switch over to your slides, and then you can paste that in. For today, a couple things I want you to do. One, read the syllabus. Don't format or change the slides. Put your first and last name on the first slide right here where it says click to add subtitle. Piece of cake. And then you can use, to show these skills, you can use your current project that you're working on, or you can just open up something, create something that shows these. And during this week, I'm going to be asking for you to demonstrate some of the basic skills that I've been covering in the videos. And these are tools that I expect you to learn how to use effectively and to use a lot. Okay. So I'm going to switch over to Blender. And here I have one that I was working on. I've used all the skills in that video to create this. If I tab in, I can see here that that the way that this is deformed, that proportional editing was used, and I can see that I extruded the faces here. I'm going to actually switch to face mode. It's a little bit easier to see with the dots there. And I can also see that I used rotate, scale, and grab. So I can see that easy enough from the way this is moved. Everything is going to look a little different. If I hadn't used the grab tool to move this out, it would look a little different than had I just rotated or scaled it, because it wouldn't have pulled it apart that much over in this direction. As you can see, this was with rotate, this was with the grab tool and moving it. Okay, so there's that. Plus, in the cube itself, I used subdivide to break it up. I didn't use loop cuts. I could have used loop cuts and put in you know, 64 loop cuts this way and 64 loop cuts that way, and done that, split it up quite complexly and then sideways, that would have been way more than I wanted. If I can't specifically tell that you use the tool that I asked you to, then it's not going to be, it's not going to count worth anything. Okay. In this, I did loop cuts here, and again, Control R for loop cuts. And loop cuts are very different than subdivide, because if I add loop cuts, it only breaks up in one direction, not in two directions. And even though, like here, if I painstakingly went and divided all of these the same way to do that, that's too much work to do what I was asking, and it's also just a little bit overkill for what we need. Duplicate, in this case I duplicated the objects, but I also duplicated my loop cuts in that last one. So I can do Shift D, for instance, or Alt D. If I hit Y, it'll move it along just that axis, and I move those out. They're empty, of course, because they're just the edges, because loop cuts only create edges, they don't create the faces in there, they just subdivide it. And so I took out all those loop cuts there. So anyway, those are the tools that I expect you to use. Now, I could actually use this one image to show all of those things that I did. And again, I can use Alt Print Screen, or I can do, let's actually, on this one, I'll take the snipping tool. I'm going to say New, and I'm just going to use one of these. So I'm going to highlight like this. I'm going to copy, and then Alt-Tab to go back to your slides. I'm going to go to this one, Control-V. I might have this one to demonstrate it, and here I had typed in initially using two different images or two different views to show that I use those tools, mainly because my keyboard's really loud and I didn't want to type out the descriptions. So in this case, I would just change this so that I have it all as one there. I'm going to take that picture away because I don't need it. The other thing that I want you to do is, again, as you're working, whenever you're in a project and you're creating and you're getting ready to even go from one project to the other or towards the end of class, I want you to take a screenshot of your work. Alt Print Screen, Alt Tab. Again, you could use the snipping tool if you wanted for that or whatever. And I want you to put that in your daily work log too. If you need to add another slide, you could either duplicate this slide or just click below it, hit Enter, take the heading, Control C to copy, Control V to paste, in case you don't know, and it's good to go. That's all you need to do. You can put your new pictures there, type your descriptions of the images in the gray box down here, and that should be good for building your portfolio. For the portfolio, basically you'll lose points if you don't have images for the day, and so it's going to be an essential part, and I will try to remind you in class. For those of you that aren't right in the room with me, or if you're absent, then you need to work on that. What I will do is during a quarter, I'll excuse 3 absences where I won't expect you to show work for. But after that, I'll expect you to still be filling out the log for anything in addition to that. Otherwise, you'll be penalized points. So basically, you get 3 passes on that. But if you're in class, of course, and you're not away sick or gone to something else, then basically you're not doing the work you're supposed to be doing in class, and so you'll be deducted those points. So anyway, that about wraps it up for that. There we go.